Hello and welcome to another StarCraft 2 co-op video. Today we'll be looking at another post from a Chinese forum about the upcoming mutation. Alright, a mutation that's not difficult if you choose the right commander because there is Killbots, the most disgusting muter that is most commander dependent. If your commander can't feed the bots, then the difficulty increases a lot. You can only madly produce workers until you full clear, playing on a knife's edge. If you don't full clear, you will need about 40,000 resources to feed for 30 minutes. So if you solo queue, you should choose a commander that can feed the bots. In other words, in a duel, if you can already feed the bots, or if you can trust your ally to be a Stukov P3, then this won't be that difficult. If you think you can deal with Moment of Silence and quickly clear the map, good. Don't forget that when killbots eat their fill, they will trigger Moment of Silence. If possible, feed the killbots away from the action. If neither of you are Stukov or Zagara, you have to full clear the map quickly. Consider having one person feed the bots and another clear the map. But don't do this if you have already lost a bot and have to defend 3 on the left side. Regardless of whether or not you want to clear the map, you should clear the buildings in the bottom left bonus area to prevent the bots from spawning there and attacking your base. The extraction device is also a structure. You should deal with the 10-minute attack wave on the map and not let them see any structures in your natural to prevent the killbots from heading in that direction. If you plan to clear the map, remember that the workers in the top right corner will move to 12 o'clock to build stuff. Conversely, the workers on the high ground at 12 o'clock might also go to the top right corner. Keep some units there when clearing the map. In total, you need to feed about 300 units in the first 20 minutes and 400 units from 20 to 28 minutes. So even if you're a bit slow with clearing, as long as you haven't lost a bot or suffered any huge losses, you'll still profit if you clear all the structures within 20 minutes. Zerg commanders should utilize Burrow when feeding so you can continue to F2 or reposition the side emitter to deal with the enemies. If you have money but no larva, you can put some evolution chambers along the paths as static defense against killbots. As for Moment of Silence, aside from the aforementioned killbots, there are several hybrid reavers in the center of the map. Most people remember the big attack waves at 1530 and 2806. Don't forget that while defending the 2 little bots on the right, the last wave at around 1405, it's actually 1415 or 1425, will contain 2 hybrids that attack the right bots. Just don't forget about them. Overall, Moment of Silence isn't really noticeable. It's just a bit annoying when many of them come with an attack wave. If you encounter an attack wave and a killbot together, stop feeding the bots for the time being. If you want to clear the map and stuff the spawn points, just stuff the bottom left one. If you clear the map like you usually do during the 4th set of bots and you stuff the right spawn point, the bots might walk over the spawn point at the top middle, resulting in the escort waves being random again. So this is a side note. If all possible spawn points are stuffed, the wave will still spawn and it will randomly choose a spot even if that spot is already stuffed. As a result, if you didn't want the enemies to spawn at the bottom left, they might still spawn there because all the points were stuffed by your structures or the killbots. Recommended commanders. The ones that can feed. Stukov P3, most stress-free commander for feeding, don't need to full clear at all. I bet you'll encounter this most in solo queue. The old ones that get hit by Moment of Silence will be replaced by new ones. Aside from the free units, the top bars are also good for feeding. Alexander can continue to stretch its arms to control air units even after it's hit by Moment of Silence. Zagara P1, P3, when Lings are burrowed, they won't evade, so they'll be fed to the killbots faster. The rest is just Bane, Scourge, and the hero unit. Just be careful to dodge the killbots once they're full. Attack the 1530 and 2806 waves in groups, especially if the enemy has a lot of AoE. Don't let all your dudes get hit by Moment of Silence at once and then have to wait for death. Regardless of prestige, pushing is rather quick. In the late game, make bio launchers and a spine spore forest because they ignore Moment of Silence. Stedman P2. In my personal opinion, I don't think you should get hardened shields. I don't think you shouldn't get hardened shield for Lings just because there are killbots. With hardened shields, you can push faster. If anything, you can just burrow the Lings and let the killbots slowly hit them. You can also make evils. Once the escort waves are gone, there's pretty much nothing left. Be careful not to let Gary hit by Moment of Silence. Other commanders. These guys can kinda feed but can't be lazy and not full clear. Or they are good at clearing the map quickly. Dahaka can help feed with Lings and drones. 3 pack leaders aren't affected by Moment of Silence, make Tyrannosaurs against weak anti-ground enemies, Guardians against strong anti-ground enemies. They're faster at clearing the map than Creeper hosts. Kerrigan non-P1 can feed with creep tumors but requires a lot of APM. Evos are 125 minerals for 7 kills, which are cheaper than Lynx. Omega Worms are free, but their cooldown is long. If your ally is Stukov, you can have him use his top bars on your Omega Worms. Abathur P0, P2, like Kerrigan, use creep tumors and evos to feed the bots, but if you use creep tumors, you might have to remove your F2 key. 6 UEs are really strong and can clear the map quickly. Although your burrow hosts are out of Moment of Silence range at their longest distance when they attack a toxic nest, when you consider the need to clear the map, it becomes very clear that the hosts are slow. If Brutalists hide in a balloon, which is an overlord, they can still attack even if they're hit by Moment of Silence. However, why would I even say this? Are you really going to play Kirov airship with the Limitless? Mechs. Defend with bunkers to avoid Moment of Silence. Feed troopers and workers. If you want to make workers and avoid F2, you can repair bunkers while they're nearby. If you can micro all of that, of course. If you can't, you have to select them all and turn off auto repair. The killbots target a random unit within range. If the SVs don't die in one hit, they will easily slip out and repair each other infinitely. Nuke the 1530 and 2806 waves. Cannon Toll P2, P3 make a few robos to feed observers in the early to mid game. If the enemy comp is weak, consider using the Void Ray Legion to clear faster. Phoenix P2. Even though his units are relatively cheap, it's still best to clear the map quickly. You can consider feeding the shells in addition to observers. Normally, you'll have enough gas even if you don't get the ones in your expo. This time, get a gas to make more observers to survive the early to mid-game bots. Lone Wolf. During the big waves, throw down your nuke, then Sam throws his grenades. During the small waves and when clearing, even if one person gets hit by Moment of Silence, switch that person out with another one. You also have serious turrets. You will have to depend on your ally for feeding the bots, but if you can manage it, you can clear the map pretty fast on multiple fronts, especially if Vega mind controls an Immortal. Reminder, Swan P2, Carax P3. Moment of Silence doesn't do anything to towers and the Spear of Doom. Killbots, rely on your ally. Raynor, emphasis again, you cannot feed with spider mines. They are also affected by Moment of Silence. The special cases for these two mutators appear in the same mutation. Man, what can I say? Artanis non-P3. For those who pick these prestiges in solo queue are those who insult the hierarch. They should be stuffed into the Spear of Adun and shot out. Unless you pair up with Stukov or Zagara, quickly leave if you see your ally with these prestiges. Hidden base. Even if killbots don't have vision of your buildings, they will most likely head towards the main. So if you do this, you can play with just the natural. If you really want to hide structures, I recommend waiting a month for speed props. Is there a pro who can explain the details on how to trap props? I've only seen videos, but I'm not sure whether there are requirements regarding distance from the cannon, width of a building, etc. The week after is We Move Unseen, Fatal Attraction, and Magnificent on BT. If you pick Stukov P3 for this mutation and not laugh, you can be diagnosed with depression. Raynor, since you can't feed the bots, you should go clear structures. Quickly mass marine, then transition into starports. Viking, Banshee, Summon Hyperion, Yamato, all the things. But the real question is, why pick Raynor? On the contrary, you can feed for quite a long time. Kerrigan, she clears structures a lot faster than Raynor. She alone goes out with an impressive display of power, all on her own. Her creep tech will also help out Stukov a lot. Artanis, his main use is helping his ally reduce losses when clearing structures. The fewer the losses, the faster the clearing. Then there will be fewer bots. But if your ally is Stukov, quickly transition into Stargate, Phoenix, Tempest. Swan, wait for your ally to finish clearing, then place towers at the spawn points. So basically he does nothing, because this is regular Brutal. Zagara, Frenzy F2A, clear everything. You have to do more work because you have to inject larva, but clearing is faster than Kerrigan, so there will be fewer bots. Carax, stronger than Swan in that he actually has pushing power. Nova, commanders with elite units shouldn't even consider feeding the bots. Going directly into Liberators and clearing the map is more important than anything. Abathur, doesn't lack money, feed as many evils as you want. And then Amon realizes his base got sniped by Brutalists. Vorazun, not recommended. She's a commander that needs a bit of time before she can demonstrate her power. It conflicts with the need to clear quickly in this mutation. The slower you clear, the more bots you face. Han Horner, although you won't lack Reapers, you can't just keep feeding them. You need to demonstrate an offensive commander's capabilities. F2A and destroy all structures to eliminate the bots. MO's encampments aren't really strong. Stukov, if you can choose P3, choose P3. Guaranteed win. If you pick P1, you need your ally to feed and you will be responsible for clearing. If you pick P0, you need to feed while defending, since your pushing power is weak. If you pick P3, you can go on offense and defense at the same time, defending and feeding bots. Alarak, a pure offense commander. Destroy all and that's it. The only requirement is that you must pick P3. The mothership's offensive capabilities in the early to mid game are just too good. Tychus, don't pick P3. Odin's nuke is useful. P3 attacking on multiple fronts is just too strong. Sirius alone can destroy MO's weak encampments. Dahaka, 3 pack leaders, none that Amon can mess with. P2's pack leaders are even harder to mess with. The thing you need to be careful about is Dahaka spends 50 minerals per lane. It'll be hard to feed in the mid to late game. Phoenix, the Rock Slapper compilation should be updated. Manx, what a coincidence. I don't have much, but I have a lot of troopers. When it comes to feeding bots, I am comparable to Zagara. However, Manx doesn't need money to destroy bases, he just needs 100 mandates. Then you can summon a great army of Zerg in the palm of your hands or turn the clear sky into missile rain. Stedman, F2A, but he's limited by Stedalites. Be careful when choosing P2. Zerato, I don't like these stinking bots. Even though observers are its cheapest unit, they're still quite expensive at 75 gas apiece. I suggest clearing the map quickly like Zagara. For Stukov, even if you're P1, after clearing an encampment, you can place a barracks in the middle and infest structure to feed the bots. It's just not as easy as P3 and the player also has to dodge the bots. Regarding this problem, I said this because I took speedy clearing into consideration. P1 improves Stukov's expensive mech problem, but it doesn't improve the Diamondback's survivability. So when attacking encampments, you need to infest structure to draw aggro. Apocalypse and Alexander are used to deal with big attack waves, and at the top of the map there are tier 3 units and hybrid encampments. In particular, Terran bases have tanks and battlecruisers. The former has 13 range, the latter will directly Yamato one of your Diamondbacks immediately. Even though Stukov's tanks have 18 range, MO is a map that is rather long in the latitudinal direction. Creep needs a long time to spread throughout the map. This makes it hard to deep tunnel tanks to attack on MO. I remember the first time I played this mutation, I used Rainer and beat it by making it rain. My ally was an Artanis who made Zealot Tempest, no Dragoons. Guardian Shell made it feeding very inefficient. I decided to forget full clearing on MO since the encampment is too fortified. There's no need to pick this troublesome commander. A something. Are you playing Zeratul? Then never mind. Actually, you don't need to be super duper fast when clearing. You need to feed about 300 units from 0 to 21 minutes, and 400 units from 21 to 28 minutes. As long as you clear before 21 minutes, you will profit. Yes, just play normally. At this time, bot mutations show disgusting people's fangs. I know every single word here. I don't know what it means when put together. I don't know what that means. When the designer was young, he had to finish 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 apples or else he wasn't allowed to go to sleep. When the designer was young, he had to do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 pages of homework or else he wasn't allowed to go to sleep. Single bots mutations is nothing. What about double bots? Do you like my nuke bots where you can only input one number a second? Not a big problem. The pause method is great. Now Tutu has even discovered the trick where you patrol a worker around the bot. And I am where the ZXCVB keys are. I don't know what this means. When I look at it, as long as both of them are normal 10-point mutators, boombots are relatively easy. I don't understand what this one means either. I'm guessing for a 10-point mutator, it's not that hard. That's my guess. When the designer was young, he had to have his parents say some numbers aloud and he had to input them, or he had to say some numbers aloud and his parents had to input them in order to unlock the passcode to their home's front door. Last time I used Zeratul against killbots for the first time, I thought it was pretty difficult. The good thing is that the encampments on MO aren't very strong, but after thinking about it some more, I think I won't use Zeratul. I won't use him. And that's it for this post. What advice do you have for this mutation? Comment it down below and I'll see you next time.